Hey all, Heretic here. Patch 28.4.1 drops today in about an hour, so it'll be about 1 p.m. Eastern time. Let's jump in and see all the changes that are going to dramatically affect everything we're doing. First, we have a change to Kel'Thuzad, but it is only a text change. So functionally, it'll work exactly the same, where you destroy a minion, and then you summon an exact copy of it. Of course, if you have a reborn version, it will summon extra copies, so they have no way changed the way Kel'Thuzad is working. Just a text change, don't worry about it. Moroes, the Steward of Death, received a small nerf. He is now a 5/1 reborn death rattle, give your undead +1/+5. Still a decent buff, in no way insignificant. This is a good nerf to this card. Hopefully this will be enough to rein in some of the crazy undead boards we've seen using Kel'Thuzad in this. But we'll have to get some games in to see, but it's definitely a nerf. Hawkstrider's received a nerf. It's gone from being a tier 5 5/2 to now being a tier 6 6/2. So there will be less Hawkstriders in your games that you're running into, and that is always a good thing. They still functionally work the same, where they're going to trigger death rattles before combat begins, but at the same time, at least there's going to be a lot less of them in the game, theoretically. Sporebat has received a small nerf. Mystic Sporebat goes from being a 5/1 to a 3-run. Same death rattle, get a random tavern spell. Still tier 4, works the same. Lubber is back and has been slightly nerfed. Went from being a tier 2 3/4 to being a tier 3 4/5 with the exact same effect of the tavern offers an extra tavern spell after each refresh. I don't know how this is going to affect a lot of things, but with some of the other changes coming up, I think this will make a big deal. This makes my elementals a little more playable again, because now there'll be more spells in the pool, more likely to buff the shop. So there's going to be at least some more avenues of play being offered to the game. Moon Bacon Jazzer gets a buff, going from being a 1/3 to a 2/3. Still Tavern tier 2, still giving +1 to your blood gems for the rest of the game's health, but at least it's a 2/3 now. Geomagus Roogug got a big buff. This is a big deal because this was already a decent card, and I think we're going to see a lot more Geomaguses. Used to be a 3/6 whenever a blood gem is played on this. Play a blood gem on a different friendly minion. Now it is a 4/6 Divine Shield. Whenever a blood gem is played on this, play a blood gem on a different friendly minion. So same trigger, better stat, and it gains Divine Shield. This is going to be nasty. Quillsboars just became a little more of a threat. Prickly Piper got a bit of buff. Went from being a 3/1 to a 5/1. Still Tavern tier 3, still giving +1 to your blood gems for the rest of the game as a death rattle, but got some extra attack. Paint Smudger getting a buff also, going from a 3/2 to a 5/3. This is the same effect, still tier 3. It's whenever you cast a tavern spell, play a blood gem on another friendly Quillboar. This is a big deal, especially now with Lubber back. We actually might see some more of Quillboar running with Lubber play, so we can get some extra value out of the Smudgers. We'll see, but at least that avenue is reopened to us again. Bleeding Vigor got a big buff. Goes from being Tavern tier 4, a 6/6 buff until next turn, to a Tavern 3, 7/7 buff until next turn. I've always kind of liked this card at times, and it has a 7/7 buff on tier 3 for 1 gold, even temporary. Damn good bit of tempo right there. I like that a lot. Shiny Ring still gives a +1/+1 to your minions, but instead of being Tavern tier 3 for 2 gold, it's Tavern tier 2 for 2 gold. Big change. I like Shiny Ring. At tier 2, that feels a little nice. I'm still not excited about this spell, but if I'm floating 2 gold and I've got a bunch of minions, 1/1 to everybody for 2 gold's not bad. Staff of Enrichment is exactly the same, buffing the minions in the shop for the rest of the game, 1/2. But now, instead of being 3 gold, 2 gold, so a little easier to get that value out of this card. You know, if you're running demons, if you're running mechs, you definitely can get some good needed value out of this. And at 2 gold, it's a little more reasonable, I feel, than 3. Primal Staff got hit a bit with the nerf bat. Went from tier 4 to tier 5. Same effect, end of turns trigger twice, but not sitting in that coveted tier 4 spot means there's less of them at tier 5 in the pool, even with the same effect. But hey, do you like battle cries? Don't worry about it, because Dreamer's Embrace just went from tier 5 to tier 4, so you can trigger some battle cries now. This one I kind of love, because if you're not running any battle cries and you have spell generation, you can't get this out of your hand. And if it's at tier 4, that means there's more of them, which is great if you're playing battle cries. But if you're not, and you keep generating these, they're dead cards. You have to buy a battle cry card just to trigger these out of your hand, which is annoying if you're going to start generating more of these theoretically. Planar Telescope goes from being Tavern Tier 4 to Tavern Tier 3. And this is the same effect of discover a minion of your most common type for 4 gold. But at Tavern Tier 3, that means there's a lot more of them. That is a big change. I love this spell. Putting this at Tavern Tier 3 just makes it better and easier for us to discover the cards we need. You're still paying that extra gold to get the discover of the tribe you want. So it's not necessarily cheap, but at least it's targeted. Overconfidence goes from Tavern Tier 2 to Tavern Tier 3. This is 1 gold, and if you win your combat, you get 3 gold. If you tie, you gain 1. I don't really love this at Tier 2. It's not often I'm buying it. I think putting it to Tier 3 means it's going to see far less play, which is scary because you don't see it that much anyways. Natural Blessing got hit with a little bit of nerf. Used to be choose a minion, give all minions that share that type +3/+2. It is now choose a minion, give all minions that share a type with that +2/+2. Not a huge deal, but you know, you have 7 minions on the board, all share a type. It's an extra attack across the board. A little bit of an. In the really big hit, this is the one that we're all kind of happy about and at the same time sad about, but Reckless Investment, Leaf Through the Pages, and Titus's Tribute have been removed from the game. No longer will you have to deal with a Goldrin player who doesn't have a Titus doubling his death rattles, even though the damn guy isn't there. Nothing you could counterplay. At least that's gone. Goldrin's still going to be powerful, but we'll see if this does a little bit of a nerf bat to that, removing the spell. Leaf Through the Pages I love, but it's not a huge deal that it's gone. Reckless Investment did enable a lot of shenanigans, so it's probably best that it's gone, but I am going to miss it. But that's it. That's the patch. That's everything that's changing. It's been over a month since the last update. We know a lot of dramatic things happened to Blizzard last week with the layoffs and whatnot. We're sorry to those who lost their jobs, of course. That's shit, but not much we can do on our end except sit there and hope they can land on their feet. And all the condolences to them. Hopefully they can get somewhere, you know, better than where they are right now, right? Maybe this is the opportunity you need to something better. Blizzard has kind of been an issue for a little while, you know, with on and off bad news. So maybe finding a new place to work might not be bad for you. I don't know, but I wish you the best of luck. I really do. But just to try to bring it back, it's, you know, we've had a lot of time with this meta, and it's nice to see some changes to get it shaken up so we can actually have some fun with it and get back into the games and with a fresh take on it and be like, hey, maybe something good's going to come of this now, and we can have some fun. Thanks for watching all. I hope you had a good time. I'll catch you in the Battlegrounds. Till then, have a good one. Later.